Hello everybody, I'm Overhaul and this is my lovely assistant Crystal. Hi, and today we are reviewing Rwby Volume 6, Chapter 4 and 5. I began to think my chapter reviews are going to be 2 chapters in a row, so yeah, that's gonna seem to be a weird way to make things, but alright. I don't think people really care. Be quiet, Crystal. So yeah, I'm gonna do this the same way that I did the last time. I'll be breaking down the first part of chapter 4, and then the second part in chapter 5, but skipping the first in chapter 5. So that's it. Let's get on with this review. Now the second things that happens in the chapter 4. We're skipping the order, we're skipping the Team Rwby stuff, is the villains. And that we see a little bit of the Grimscape or whatever it's called. When Hazel, Mercury and Emerald. Now it's important to know that Mercury, Emerald and Hazel are not flying the ship, so maybe that ship they are flying has a Geist Grim, or maybe it's automatic. Or how? Maybe there's some kind of a ghost pilot Grim. I mean, we seem to be having zombie beasts right now, so it would be believable. That's true. So yeah, they come and Tyrion's there waiting for them. Now Tyrion is supposed to be ignored because he's just there to gloat about their defeat, which he also did. But I can imagine that after she found out they lost, she might actually be a bit accepting of it, because at least Tyrion was close to killing Crow. So yeah, he comes and then then he starts teasing Emma about Cinder because, well, let's all be honest to ourselves. So I would say that Mercury and Emerald would be dead. So yeah, kinda take the vulnerable woman. Plus I can feel like negative emotions are like the thing that they want to do in that world the most, so yeah. So he starts talking about Cinder, and that pisses Emma off, but he just oozes out, like he's saying, first cut, and I beat. Then he comes in the fence, and he calls him a freak, which to me he is crazy as fuck. So yeah. Yeah, after that, Tyrion says, "Oh, I am sad, but I am sad because you failed our queen, divine savior, or whatever he refers to Salem." So he starts laughing crazily, and actually, he laughs so much that he actually falls on his knees. I don't know why, it's just hilarious how crazy he is whenever he laughs. So later we cut into the meeting scene, and wait, why was there Tyrion in that scene? Huh? Well, I can imagine they didn't start the meeting after all of them were there, so that might be the case. Plus, it's possible that Tyrion has some kind of a different semblance, so it could be like he has some kind of a similar semblance to Emerald. I mean, it's not all that impossible. I mean, we don't know what his semblance is yet, and Tyrion is definitely the type of a person that would be able to unlock his semblance. I mean, he's not like Watts. So yeah, he may or may not. But yeah, anyways, he goes there and yeah. They go there and ask, how did you fail? How did it happen that you failed so spectacularly? And then Hazel is like the Father's Brigade split up our forces, and Salem is no. Because let's all be honest with ourselves, Salem doesn't really care about that things, because, well, the Father's Brigade should not have much of an effect on the play in general. So yeah. Then he says, who is responsible for this failure? Now, first Hazel tries to take all the blame for himself, and because, well, if she's gonna punish anyone, he is it's gonna be a small loss if he gets punished in Emerald and Mercury. Because something tells me that a giant guy with a semblance that allows him to block out pain has more chance of surviving her punishments than 16, 17, barely adult girl and a guy with robotic legs. So yeah, he takes all the blame on it. He takes responsibility, he says. Wait, why didn't he say Cinder? I mean, how? Maybe, is it because he did not know that Cinder was to blame? It's kind of left ambiguous. Like, the only things he probably knew was the fact that the fight was going on. He probably asked for details more, but I heard somewhere that the reason why he decided to take the blame is because he could not blame someone who's dead. Because apparently only Salem's able to know when people die. If that's because of a Graham told her, or if something else, I don't know. But apparently only Salem knew this scene that Cinder was alive. But of course, her reaction to when Hazel says that was flip the table off, scare everyone to shit, summon Grim Arms, put Hazel down, and basically have a big rage fit. And then say Emerald, because Emerald would be the last person in the room that would throw Cinder on the bus. Who is to blame? And Emerald, and she basically is in a way that Emerald's like, Cinder, it's Cinder. So yeah, then we get to the lines when the trailer where she says, as soon as you put your desires above, oh, and wait, I think you forgot to put the thing about Cinder still be alive, how they're gonna leave her to do whatever she wants until she can redeem herself. Oh, thank you, Cinder. Why don't you make that scene down? So yeah, out of all of them, what is the one that reacts the most and says how? And Tyrion says, are you questioning our divine savior? Which kind of means that Salem came and saved all of them in some way. Like maybe after being in prison, he was able, like maybe that could be reference to the origins, like what was thrown off to survive outside the kingdom, and she came and saw and took her to her castle. Tyrion was exiled from the kingdom, and she came, and he nearly got killed, but she came. Like maybe that's what's happening here. But yeah, so yeah, back to you. Yeah. So they go to that scene and then they try to talk about what to do with Vakio. Oh, and we find out that yes, Vakio definitely has a sword. I think many of us could predict that, but at least it's confirmed Vakio's relic is a sword. And they will plan on doing something with it, but Hazel says, I have more to report. Cinder is a bit still pissed off because the last information he gave, that wasn't exactly the information he wanted, so yeah. She's kinda ready to kill him. Though, some people, namely Idella Cal, another YouTuber, made a joke video in which he said that the entire series should play out, would be like, it's your racket or something. Which is just bullshit because, seriously, Hazel not telling Salem about Ospan and the kids going to Atlas is the dumbest thing that they could do. I'm beginning to think that Idella Cal guy and whoever says that they could just easily Hazel not tell her because of how she reacts would be the dumbass. Seriously. What the fuck is up with this? It's actually smart thing that Hazel told her about the information and how she's only like, and Salem was only like, alright, what in the world could be so much more important than this? Because, she kind of want, because, she and Hazel are kind of in a bad mood, so yeah. He informs about Osman and all that, and she, get out. Rather than and before that, for a big rage fit, Tia's like, I can basically try to please her, because I can assume that whenever she's angry, it's like, run for your safety, people! But, well, they do that anyway, so yeah. So, they were planning on going to Valkyrie, but it seems like they're going to Atlas now. Possibly what's leading them. So, yeah. And now let's cut to Team Rwby. Well, to be fair. So, yeah. Team Rwby basically reacts on this whole thing. And basically, we get some good Crow moments with Crow punching Osman because it feels a bit betrayed and all. Which is really a bad scene. I don't know if it's because it's so comedic or if something else, but still. So yeah, alright. Some people also say the reason why this scene might seem a bit weak and why characters are so rage fit after basically seeing the guy be in a fight where all the children of his have gotten killed because, well, we have weak suppressors this and decapitate just in minutes. But anyways, they have a talk. They talk and Osman's like, I'm leaving. I'm locking myself up. So the way that Oscar says, I don't know, he went to the back of my head or something. So yeah, Osman is described it. I don't know, he went back into my head or something. I don't like it. I want to stop. What his words. So yeah, so everyone's throwing a fit, mostly Yang. And then the Maria Calavera shows up and says, "Alright, hello, we're all still out there in our emotions, all that, and we find out everything," which could be the fact that could have saying, these characters have just got this information. They still need some time to process it, right? In which they say. So yeah, and Yang, so yeah, she says, and Yang says to her, "Oh lady, do you really think you can, who do you think you are in?" Alright, I'm beginning to wonder if this volume has so many bondage moments. What are you talking about? Well, let's see. Yang throws a fit at her, and if you go the Yoda way, you could say beat up, and you know how things in Dead games go, right? Can you for once not be a pervert? It's my job, bitch. No, it's not. It isn't it is. So yeah, she says to Yang, we need to get off the snow because a lot of negative emotions. We're already having a beacon that automatically attracts Graham, and we are in the middle of a snowing region when we have no idea which way we need to go to the nearest shelter. So there's a trail. So look, there's a trail over there. Let's go there. So yeah, so everyone agrees and goes. There's a little scene where Rwby giving Osman's weapon and says, "I'll be another one of his lives," and she says no. And Crow is, "Don't lie, Rwby, we're banning that." I guess he would lie in that moment saying, "Sure you're not, kid," but I feel like Rwby actually meant that. So they go this way, then we get the villain scene, and we get back, and then we get to the Brunswick farm, and then we come to a Brunswick farm, which actually does kind of imply that scene in the trailer when you're walking in the snow was a very short scene. And it wasn't that big of a snowstorm because in the next, so yeah. And come to the Brunswick farms. And the only thing I can say about those Brunswick farms, kind of a believable went away thing. Wait. And quite an interesting place. Had a swordsman type stuff. So, yeah. Wait, why is Neo on the picture? It's Neo. It's the biggest thing that people talk about this episode. But before we get to Neo, let's talk about what team, whatever they're called, are going. Right now they're in the farm, and let's just say the atmosphere of the farm is a creep show filled with the creepiest things. Also, I already know what happens, and so does my dear assistant here. But let's just say this place is as creepy as fuck. Like, I'm not joking. The creep factor is up. At the start we get a little scene where Wise being cold and them being suspicious of the farm. Also some people complained about how Wise is the only one that's suffering from the cold. We only see Crow and Rwby, so it's hard to say anyone else is warm. But anyways, they go in and they first come in with weapons out because they're all ready and complete for fight. Maria Calavera says that they need to close the door that's already cold enough in here as it is. I feel like she might actually be more or less aware of where the Grimm are, or at least knows that they're not in the same facility. So that's why she's so calm. But anyways, they go there and they say, look at the situation. They agree that Wise and Yang go get the blankets, and Blake says, well, I saw a chimney, so by logic, there should be a fireplace. So they agree and they go do that. And then Rwby goes to the family picture, and she is like wondering about this picture. Do you know that? Blake comes and says also, and basically try to up the creep factor as much as they can. So later, then we hear screams from Yang and Wise, and let's just say those screams are the same scream someone would have if they find dead bodies this in bed. Because that's what they find. They saw it and find it needs. And they're like, what? Basically as creeped out as they fucking can. And then they cut to them being in the fireplace and all still being recollected. Blake gave in Wise a blanket because she seems to be the most cold, and maybe it should be a bit because of the sphere to make her a bit more warmer, because I can see her dead body kind of being chills down her presence. Like seriously, we may say how it's not we may complain about the scenes, but let's all be honest with ourselves. If we see a dead body in the abandoned house in the winter, we would all have chills on our spines. So yeah, Crow comes and says all the houses, it's in the same in everyone. They're dead, but they went to sleep and they never woke up. Now some people complain about how this was, salty of a break, because, they all seem, Yang, Wise, and Crow, all three of them seem to be extremely tired. I don't know when Crow says it, but I know Yang says it, where Blake and looking for things they can use to get away, and Wise says it later, at the end of the episode. But yeah, it seems like they are shoving down your throat that people went to sleep and they die. Since I'm pretty sure you people haven't seen the episode, let's just say it's more of a misdirection than anything else. I think that's supposed I think. I only said it's a misdirection, not what it actually is. And to be fair, I think it's logical for someone to say it's a misdirection. I mean, it's not like they're very subtle with lines like, it's like they all went to sleep and never woke up. Which, to be fair, I can see Which, to be fair, before I knew what actually happens, I did have a theory like there's some kind of a grim human living in that town that actually kind of wants to scare things. Like, I'm gonna go into him later. Should that be a theory? And where did you get that theory? Shop. So yeah, they agree that no one goes alone outside. So Cole goes to check out something and says no one goes alone anywhere. Blake says that she and Yang could go and to see if there's any equipment they can use. Because, well, they are on a farm that seems to be pretty well made. Except for that bodies, it just seems to be a normal farm. So they go there. Now, there were some complaints about people saying, no problem going through the snow, no, even though they should be freezing. Yes, that snowstorm and Blake looking pretty cold definitely was never a thing. Definitely are not, clearly shows how they are not caring about the cold. So they go in there and they go look and they find a trailer, not a trailer, a carriage or something. I don't exactly know what that thing's called, but something they can use to hook up to Bumblebee, to the motorbike, not the ship, to move. Then we see a scene with Yang having a PTSD flashback with Adam. Now, it's interesting to bring up the fact that this is definitely an illusion. Because it's Adam in his old clothes and Yang did not see Adam in in the new clothing. And we see actually the mask and all that. Not like in the first chapter where Blake only had Adam, but only with with his mask and face completely blurred. So yeah, which is actually a good thing because some people complain about Rwby being in her Volume 4 outfit, even though when everyone was making an illusion of Rwby, but she should not know how she looks. But it's good that they're keeping the consistency in this volume. Yang is shaking her hand because Adam kind of cut off her arm. So yeah. Blake comes and says, and Yang tells Blake about Adam and all that, and she's like, yeah, he used to get, and explains a bit more about Adam. I feel like Rwby must have some more chapters in which they have villains in and more prominently, because at this point it seems kind of ridiculous how many times they have the heroes talk about the villains and building them up. Well, we don't see that in the chapters, but how, to be fair, it's bad in Steven Universe, who, for some stupid reason, the villains are supposed to be big fat, even though every time we see them are just a bunch of wussies that basically who only pretend to be intimidating, when in reality they cry like a bunch of, like they have nothing else to do. Seriously, Steven Universe is the show that's being hated. Why do you always go on a rant with Steven Universe? I hate the show. I mean, saying that I review the show because I hate it is a completely and utterly correct. But yeah. Anyways, Blake says says to Yang, I'm not going away. I will stay with you and protect you. So this is where I'm saying and I hope that all of these Blake haters who said the reason why we don't like her is because she's a cow that runs away, I hope that those people are gonna shut up, because Blake said that she's not gonna run away from them and she'll stay with Yang to protect her. Now, this is a genetic thing we're talking about, how they're not gonna better and all that, but Yang has a reaction. She's pissed off at Blake. I hope this is gonna be brought up in the later of the volume, but so far she just reacts pissed off and goes. Now, it seems to be implied that Yang thinks that Blake thinks that she cannot fight on her own because of the handicap, but the way I interpret that was don't worry, and if if Adam is gonna be proved too much of a fat for you, I will come and I will help you beat him. Because, well, it's possible Adam is stronger than Yang. I mean, I can see that. I mean, one fights head-to-head combat and the other one is a fucking sword wielder that can, well, kinda says, fuck you, Aura. So, yeah. They leave. Then we get to see Rwby and Wise. And then we see them being in a place where there's a bunch of booze, and Rwby's like, let's not show that to Crow. And they go. So, yeah. They go there and talk about, do they still go to Atlas? Because, well, the reason they went to Atlas was for the Attacker things, but mainly, I feel like the thing they could do is, you know, just go to Atlas, give the relic off, reunite with Team Juniper, and leave. And go wherever they want. I mean, it's not like you have that many options. Which is, to be fair, probably what shows in general, like, when they need to travel, where they even traveling, they're going. They go into another room, and they see a bunch of booze, and some canned food. They eat it and try to light up the scenario, because the scenario, the tone, the music, the entire thing, and some things they talk about how they're all tired, let's just say leaves them extremely tired. So yeah, now they go and they leave. So they go and go back to the house. They see the cellar door, well, or at least the door to their basement, weirdly starts to be moving. It opens down a bit. And the other thing I can say about that, well, the grims are a bit weird. Yeah, now to the Neo part. Now in the Neo part, we get to find out about the information that Hazel already knew, and she heads to Atlas. Little Miss Malachite reveals that we know who you are, and it was someone looking for you, and says double the business. Neo shows up, and she and Cinder have an awesome fight with an awesome theme. Which ends with the Little Miss Malachite saying, "Leave. I like the good show as everyone else, but take it outside, girls. I don't want the bar to be destroyed." So they go out, fight outside, where Cinder can actually use her maiden powers to a bit more of potential, because, well, let us all be honest to ourselves, if Cinder goes full out, it's kinda stupid. So yeah, Neo Collins, she's very pissed off. Because apparently Robert was her only one that actually was her anything. No other friends in Roman, no other figure, just Roman. So yeah, Cinder says, I have no time for your misplaced blame, girl, because Neo blames Cinder. But Cinder shows her main powers, she convinces Neo to team up to beat and kill Rwby. We end up with a little joke about how she doesn't speak, which confirms that finally that she cannot speak outside of Rwby 2B universe, because let's all be honest ourselves, less than 5 minutes in the previous volume, so yeah. We get further confirmation that she cannot speak. And Cinder, oh yeah, that's right, you don't speak. So yeah, now, some people will complain about this part because apparently it was bad when Neo was against them, because she's more of a wild card. But if I'm totally honest, everyone that's gonna work with Cinder until she rejoins Salem is a wild card. Because the only thing they currently are planning to do is kill Rwby or get the whole relics. Literally, the only thing Cinder must do is get the relics, go to Salem, and give them to her. Maybe she needs to do a bit more, but right now that's the thing she needs to do. And also, some people will say that Neo should backstab Cinder. But if I'm totally honest, I don't know why people want to see that. And I don't even get it that well. I mean, all the excuses are yeah, but that also makes other sense. I mean, Neo thought that Cinder's fault was, but to be fair, Cinder really wasn't playing on Roman or anything. That was purely Rwby. If Rwby wouldn't show up, Roman would not go up there. Roman would be eaten by a Grim, and he would not get, and the Grim would not be thrown to the ship to blow it up. That was all Rwby. So yeah, Black was out. Roman had the best way to escape. It was all utterly and completely Rwby's fault. So yeah, let's go back to the whole thing. It seems that Cinder is kind of forming her little group to take down Team Rwby, because there's now there's Neo, and it's quite possibly Adam will join, because, well, the White Fairies are gonna follow him, and Cinder, he already has experience working with Cinder, and probably he knows Neo, so it makes sense. Where does your Grim thing come in? Well, you see, my dear, I assume there's going to be like a Grim that will be in the farm, and he will sort of be able to be defeated like a Grim human, like looking like how Salem does, but even more Grim, not just different coloring. Like his skull would be seen, his eyes would be a bit more like silver, and the bloody rat, basically like a complete human physique, but only like how you would expect a human to look if they were Grim and not Salem ways. So he would get beaten, and Cinder will come across him, and he will join. Right now, it's also possible Whitley will become a part of this team, because Cinder first Rwby, Adam first Blake, Neo first Yank, and Whitley first Wise. Because, to be fair, we don't exactly know how powerful Whitley is, and if he does have severe hatred towards Wise because he was neglected from everyone, because, let's not face it, the only thing we see from him in a literally manga panel that's supposed to be flashbacks is just him saying hi, saying something to Wise. No idea what, no idea if it's good, if it's something supposed to make her laugh, or I don't know what, just mystery. So yeah, I hope you like this video. I hope you're gonna leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos in the future. And that's it, I cannot wait to see all of you people next time. Bye.